a ton heavier than a lot of the competition, rated to 600 horsepower, so that's 200 horsepower more than most of the competition, and a hull design that looks like she's going to part a few waves. So is this extra weight of the Navan C30 going to give you a different experience in your boat life? Keep watching, let's find out. Solid. I would really be happy to take this boat in the ocean. Look at that, beautiful. Okay, we're going to go straight out into the ocean. I'm going to explain to you guys what I feel and discover on this heavier hull. I've already done it a couple of times today with the drone, and it does feel different to many adventure boats. But before we do that, just check all clear. Let's just get some speed happening and show you what she's capable of. Twin 250s, we go up to 300s. Acceleration is blisteringly quick. You can feel that horsepower. And I'm at 30 knots. We'll just maintain 30 for a bit, we'll settle in. I've got zip weight on auto trim today, and then I'm just going to be doing some engine trim as I see fit. It does have the auto trim activated, but I will override it as I see fit. I've got this door closed, sun roof closed, back window open, so that's the engine noise, and this one locked in this position. I'm standing, I could sit, I'm not going to do that until later on in the video, but let's go full speed. Twin 250s, 5,300 revs. No fuel data today because it hasn't been connected. Feel the acceleration, 44 knots already, 5,800 revs, couple little waves here. Just going to do that for a bit. And 46 knots, little trim up, 46. Easy 46 knots. All right, let's settle into something a little bit more sensible and let's head out in the ocean. So now I'm going to slow down to a more of a cruising speed, what I think you guys are going to be doing. And let's come back to 30 and now 18 knots, because it's not all about go fast on these boats. I want you to really have a think and do a comparison to perhaps your current boat or perhaps your last boat, because if you are coming from a large sailing yacht or even a large motor yacht, and I suspect many of you cruise around at slower, more social speeds on your other boat, and you might be attracted to this boat for the ease of use and also for the functionality. So to be able to run out to the ocean, you'll see in a second, we do have waves, southerly wind. I'm going to go straight into those waves in a second. I'm at 20 knots. I might even dial back to 18. To be able to maintain these sorts of speeds safely and arguably comfortably in some of this swell, it's going to be a benefit to you. So let's just show you that. You might hear the back window rattling a little bit because I've left it open. If that concerns you, just close the back window because it is possible to do that. It's just got a couple little hooks which you will see in the walkthrough. So just exiting the bar now at 17 knots. This is where you get all the bumpy stuff. We still have an incoming tide, but it will be changing soon, and we have lots of short and sharp ones. I've got my windscreen wiper button just in front of the wheel, and I noticed that has 2 speeds on the one button. The windscreen wiper also has a wash function should I need to use it. So there we go, boom, just punching in at 17 knots. So I'm going to exit the bar, then I'm going to go and turn into the waves. But one of the observations I made earlier as we were going through Maritimo and Riviera Wash, that's large power boats for those of you watching from outside of Australia, turning into the southerly now. This boat's a ton heavier than a lot of the competition. And here we are now in the quite lumpy stuff. I feel very comfortable. I can feel that extra ton working for me. right now. Okay, I'm throwing a little bit of water up and over the boat, but I would expect to do that on any cutting bow boat in conditions like this. And I'm maintaining a comfortable speed right now of 15 knots into this quite rough swell. And as I drop off these waves, the substance of the hull is noticeable. Is that the right word? Jump in the comments if you've got a better one. But look at that, beautiful, beautiful. I just got no hesitation. There you go, there's a wrist point. You can accidentally hit the throttle when you reach for the windscreen wipers with your right hand. So just go for your left hand. I've learnt that as we discovered. So now I'm gonna go and take the waves on the beam, and I'm gonna increase my speed a little bit. All right. I love having the opportunity to take these boats out in rough water because it's just a proper test. Okay, now taking them on my starboard beam, I've increased my speed to 20 knots. I feel like I can increase it a little bit more, probably up to 22. And you can definitely go faster offshore on this boat, but what's the point? You know, if you've got a wife, you want her to come out with you more than once. So don't scare her. But look, that's comfortable. The boat's riding well. I'm cutting through it. Once again, the weight feels noticeable. It's noticeably different, the weight. Now I'm going to turn back down the waves. I'm going to increase my speed. And I'm actually going to have to go in the bar, so I'm not going fully down them. Hey, there we go, popped one. I might want to close this door, but I'll just try and play with my angles. Okay, there we go. Okay, so close the door when you got the waves on the port beam, which I knew was going to happen. All right, so I've got waves port aft quarter, and I can sort of run down with them a little bit at times, but I'm doing that at 25 knots. Windscreen wipers with the left hand so I don't accidentally hit the throttle, maintaining 23 to up to about 25 knots. Boat's comfortable, throwing a bit of water around, I would expect it to do that. And really good. My viz is fine. I definitely wouldn't be sitting and driving. I would absolutely be standing and driving in these conditions, at least for my body type. If you're taller and got longer arms and more flexibility, maybe that's something you would consider. So I've got one tinny up ahead. I'm looking out for surfers, lots of water movement, and windscreen wipers off. Now I'm going to start to increase my speed. Okay, solid, solid. I would really be happy to take this boat in the ocean and do considerable miles. Okay, increasing that speed, 32 knots. Now, let's just dial it back to a slower cruise. You just got so much horsepower to play with here. Remember, you can go up to 300s, twin 300s, it's rated for that. So that's gonna be a quick boat. That'll be 50 knot plus, but a 29 knot cruise at 3,800 revs is achievable. So actually 28 knots. Let's just go 3,900, then 4,000. 4,000 revs gives us 29 knots. Just think about your fuel flow. When you're under that 5,000 revs, 31 knots all day long at 4,000 revs. But we didn't come here just to do 4,000. Let's go wide open before we get to the next boat wash. Okay, let's do it. Now we're going other direction to the tide, 37 knots and climbing, 5,200 revs, 5,400 revs. We're going to run out of room in a second with this boat wash. 43 knots, 44 knots, 45 knots, 5,600, 5,700 revs. I'm out of room. Got some boat wash coming. Lots of power. Let's go into the wash this time. We'll take those waves head on, and I can feel the weight. I can feel the weight. So she's not, you can't throw this boat around in terms of hard turns as much as you would a lighter weight adventure boat. I can feel that in the turns. She does feel like something that's going to be more of a graceful turning circle. So think about it in your maneuvers. She does just have more of a big boat vibe or sensation to her. But taking waves at an angle, unlike many adventure boats that you will see me test, taking waves at an angle, you can take them like this on the bow and the boat's still going to be comfortable. Whereas many of the adventure boats I test, I really want to go nose straight into the waves. Not super essential on this one. Moderate waves, I'm not talking about big stuff, I'm talking about boat wash and wind chop. But once again, that weight feels different and it's noticeable. Now I'm coming off the plane. So if you're just wanting to sit back at the helm, run at speed, say 31 knots at your 4,000 revs and eat up miles and not have to be such an active driver like you may need to be on a lighter weight adventure boat where you really do want to angle that bow, the pointy cutting edge of the bow, into every wave to make the experience as comfortable as possible. I don't think it's as necessary on this boat. So that's quite interesting. So what we're going to do now, we're going to find a fixed dock and I'm going to play with the maneuverability and just getting from the helm to the side deck and do some simulated touch and goes so you can see how hard it is, because hopefully this is a boat that you can do all that by yourself. Keep watching. Guys, we recently hit 25,000 subs. I'd really like to get this to 100,000 subs. This channel, I make it for you. I don't get paid for the videos, I don't advertise, and I don't sell boats. So I'm really trying to make content that's useful for you so you can educate yourself, so you can help your boat life. But in order to do that, I need you to help me and support me on the Patreon. What I'm now doing up there on the Patreon community is filming extra content specifically aimed at those of you who want to buy a boat. So if you want to learn the good, the bad, the ugly, basically everything that I can discover, I'm going to start popping that up there in the Patreon community. So get on there, link is in the description below. Thanks for your help, and thank you to all the recent Patreons that have signed up. I'll put you in the closing credits at the end of the video. I really appreciate it. See you in the next one. Okay guys, I found a dock and we even asked permission to do this, so there you go. So what I'm going to do is just try, I've got some wind blowing me from left to right. I'm just going to try spinning the engines, or using transverse thrust I should say, and to spin the boat a bit. There we go. I'm actually going to now just drive at this dock and we're just going to do a touch and go just to see what the experience is like. I've got the door open, I've got both doors open. Remember that door is set back a little bit. We've got a Lumar thruster on this one and you have to press the button here to activate power, and I've got blow off conditions at the moment, so the wind's blowing me off. I'm just going to drive towards the dock and I'm going to swing it around and touch it on the port side, but what I will do is use the thruster and the motors to slide us in. So I'll actually get the boat parallel on the end of the dock, about a metre or two out. Okay. Visibility's good, I can see the transom, and now I'm just going to use the motor and the thruster to combine. It's pretty good. We'll slow that down. So, stepping off. You know what? This is a little bit high for my little legs, but I can just do it. If you are a bit taller than me, life's going to be a bit easier. You know what? I can also just kind of sit on this. That's actually not the end of the world. This grab handle here is great, and then you can kind of use this as a leverage point to move your body. And then you've got, with the roof racks, lots of places to grab onto. The cleats are accessible. The only thing is, if you were dodgy on your feet going forward, the railing is not as high because the deck steps up, so just pay attention to that. If that's a worry for you, then just focus on the midships cleat and the aft cleat and send someone else forward, or do it from the dock. So let's just slide the boat out of here. Remember, the wind's blowing me off, so it's not going to be too complicated, but I can So that thruster has got heaps of torque. Now if I just center those. Yeah, and lots of power to spin this thing around. I'm going to put this in the predictable maneuverability category, and the weight once again shows itself, because once you get this boat moving, it kind of the momentum is on your side, and it's also a little bit harder to get it moving. So when the wind hits it, it doesn't blow as quickly as the lighter boats do. So everything's a little bit slower, a little bit more predictable. Obviously you have to put a bit more power into it to get it moving, but if you come from a bigger boat, which again, that's kind of where my thoughts are at on this brand, I think many of you will have, it's going to be quite familiar. That's it. All right, we'll go from here somewhere else and we'll drop the anchor and we'll bring you along for the ride. So this is the anchor mechanism, guys, and hopefully you can see how the gas struts just here extend and now retract it. So that's designed to give you some clearance of the bow. We didn't want to drop it all the way here because we're on a beach, so the bow is actually not on the angle that it's been designed to. But the system itself appears to work, and it gives you the clearance necessary to get the thing in the water. But when you can also just run it up on the beach, well, that's going to have to be up to you because it's very easy. So twin 250s, geez, this thing's going to be an absolute animal if you went for the 300s. I suspect for most of you that's potentially unnecessary, but just consider how you're going to use the boat and what mission you have intended for it. That is noticeably different to a lot of the lighter weight adventure boats that I have driven. The feeling, the sensation, you don't have the necessity to change your angle of attack so much when you approach wash. You can kind of just bash through it a little bit more. You can also do the tricky stuff as well, but that's an interesting experience. I do really believe this is going to be something that's going to appeal to you guys and girls that have had a bigger boat or want something to complement your bigger boat or your waterfront house. It's that sort of lifestyle where you want to use the boat instead of the car, perhaps, or go to your beach house in the boat, where this Navan's going to, work quite well, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm going to pop up some competition on the screen right now so you can do the comparisons yourself and you can make up your own mind. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like and share with your mates. Jump on the Patreon and communicate with me there and watch the extra content that I'm making for you guys that helps anyone and is intended for anyone who's actually buying one of these. You're all legends. See you on the next one.